Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Leshper with 1836 Property Management, as always in beautiful Austin, Texas. This video is the 2023 end of the year update and I guess intro to 2024 for our investors at 1836 Property Management. Bear with us, there's a lot to go over. I will do my best to be as succinct as possible. First, as always, thank you for trusting us with what we know is one of the most valuable assets in your life. Keep in mind that over 80% to 85% of investors have 1 to 3 rental properties. They're not these mega companies that you hear about. They're mom and pop investors that have 1 home, 2 homes, 3 at the most. So we understand who you are. We understand how you feel. We understand that for some of you this year, you would have rather sold, but 8% interest rates and property values that dropped kept you from it, and you had to move. The good news is we've all been in this before. This is our 3rd cycle that we have been through. We've been in business so long. And I can tell you that after 2 years or so, you will see the trends, you will see the productivity of that property, and you will want to buy another one a couple of years down the road. So let's get into the review for this year and see kind of some of the highlights and improvements and let you know what we're doing to serve you better. So first, I want to let you know that, as we've spoken about before, we've spent a few years building out an internal system. So isn't there property management software? Well, of course. I mean, there's software you can buy in, and we use that to manage your properties. It allows us to take payments, to do accounting, to do all kinds of things, right? But how do you run a property management business when it's bigger than mom and pop? That becomes very difficult. We've seen a lot of colleagues over the years kind of crash and burn because they don't have systems which enable them to monitor the stats across all their units and all their employees and run an efficient operation. If you're running a railroad, you can't have trains run into each other, and you got to know where they are, when they are, and how to load them, and everything else. And there is no box for that to buy. So we are about 4 years deep now developing those internal systems so that we own our future and that we're not relying on somebody else to solve our problems. We've made some remarkable progress this year. Erica Graves has been leading that team up, and she actually spends the majority of her time, believe it or not, on those systems, which enable us to be more efficient and more accurate with everything we do, provide us displays and benchmarks so we know what we're doing well, what we're not, and kind of give us accountability across everything, whether you're watching it or not, we are. So we have continued that process, and we've got some things on the books for you for next year to continue making that better, to streamline and automate things. The objective is not to cut staff. The objective is to free up staff. So when you have a challenge or you have a problem, we can be present to deal with it instead of you calling and sitting on hold like national companies that you're aware of. Transparency with stats and processes across our team is something that we believe in as one of our values. So if we have somebody that's underperforming, we can address it. It's kind of been really interesting to watch that some people perform better here versus here, and there's no one that's been performing totally here, while we do have 1 or 2 people that are always here. So it gives us something to improve on, to re-educate on, and to focus on, and make sure we're delivering the best we can for you guys. We also attend in our community education and masterminding groups. Now, those could be local, like a trade group. Erica and Melanie have been in the Austin National Association of Property Managers board for the last year. I served as the president of the board a few years back. And so they're in that. We also have our team members go out to regional and national conferences where they get further education and meet people. I actually pay, as well as our sales team and some of our management, to be part of masterminding groups, which, believe it or not, in our tier, we're only one of about 23 in the entire nation in that tier. And there's only one really good masterminding company that delivers that to us. So that's how few people, there's about 300 property managers in Austin, Texas, and we're one of 23 in the nation in that tier. So it leads me to believe we're one of under 125 in the entire masterminding community that is paying for that service. I'm not sure what everybody else is doing, but I'm glad we're in it. So the innovation in the software is something we're really looking forward to delivering for you guys next year. We use Podio as a database, Monday as a workspace, and we're attaching all kind of things to it because we have an open API with Buildium, which is our property management software, and then we can attach things that are Citrix products and all kind of third parties. So you're going to see some really great things coming into next year. Continuing to dial in those systems is really kind of something we have been focused on the back end for years, and we're going to do that better. You're going to see automation, email automation, document signing automation, all kind of things that are going to make it easier. Customer interactivity is one of our big things. We don't want to send you an email, I use that specifically, and then have you respond to the email and then wait for us and then wait for the product. What we want to do is be able to send you something that's automated and you click, I love it, go, or let's have a chat. And then from that, we can schedule appointments and we can make progress, or we can just proceed with the automation of that process. So it speeds up the time that we can give you service, that we can serve your residents, and even get our vendors out to the property. It just speeds up everything. And that's one of the things we're working towards. The document signing automation is already kind of in the works. And don't forget that Buildium did do an update this year. So if you don't wish to email us documents or anything, you can securely upload those once you log into your Buildium portal. So that's kind of a nice feature that's from that software as well. We've also got some quarterly and semi-annual reports that we really want to send out to you guys automated. If you don't want to get them, that's fine. You can always opt out. But the REI monitor is something we built just for you guys. It's still the only one of its kind in the nation. There is one more that's coming up, but really the stats are not their goal. Their goal is to sell secondary services. So it's been interesting how they've targeted that. And they don't connect to Buildium. They connect to only one other property management software. But we're going to automate some reports for you guys so that if we get your numbers plugged in there on an annual basis, because we don't know what your insurance is, then we can automate those reports to ensure that your properties are performing where you think they should or where they really are. And if there is something that's not performing, then we can have a conversation about it and make sure that we're still on the long-term plan, because real estate investing is not a short-term deal. It's a long-term plan. So that's really important. The other thing that we're tossing around, and we're going to reach out to those of you that are our longest serving clients first, is to see if you guys would be interested in the first of its kind small investor event. We don't want to make something formal. We know you guys don't want to fly to Austin to sit in a classroom for 8 hours, and you kind of already know what you're doing. You may just be interested in some tricks and trends. We can certainly bring in local speakers from a variety of areas in real estate and investing. But we're thinking about putting something together maybe for the first 25 of you that let us know that you're interested. It would be at something local, close to downtown, not significantly over formal. And it would also give you guys some time to meet and greet your agents, your property managers, your maintenance team, just kind of everybody in the community. So if you had questions or just wanted to feel better or wanted to buy another property, you could do that. Now, that's not the purpose of the event. The purpose of the event is just simply to collaborate, build bridges, and make sure that we're all rowing in both the same direction and be present and transparent for you guys and open. But yeah, let us know. You can reach out to us any way you would like. We're kind of checking all the channels all the time. So if you have an email for your property manager or you just want to email us directly, you can always go to our website. Hey, call in if you just so wish to. But let us know if you're interested, because we're going to be throwing that around for 2024 to see if we can get a small group. We don't want to make it big. We don't want to make it impersonal. We just want the people who are interested to be able to kind of break bread with us and build bridges. And hey, if you want to go out in Austin too, then, well, who doesn't like going in Austin? So the return on equity, we mentioned that related to the REI monitor. And I want to give you an update that as we've continued to add clients, update data, and also as the rents have gone down in Austin, we've still been able to deliver an average of 8.79% as of today return on equity for our clients. That's pretty darn impressive. Keep in mind, this is not a stock which may disappear one day or a company which may implode. It's not a CD, which is delivering about 4% today or so, maybe 3.5%. It's also not your savings account, which is delivering next to nothing. It is an asset which exists in the real world and is covered by insurance. So 8.79 is pretty great. Benchmark, the average of the top 20%, so an A, just maybe an A minus, B plus, will get you 11.6%. Now keep in mind, those are the investors that didn't get stuck with the property. They bought a property with a goal, put the right amount down, and they're keeping that right amount of equity in there so they can buy more, stay leveraged, and stay at almost a cash neutral position. Those guys are making 11.6%. That is spectacular. Anything above 10, I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's so great. Let's go to our evictions so we can at least keep you guys abreast of where those are. We've had 15 year to date. As I looked, 7 of those were from agent or owner placed residents, 8 were from 1836. So it would appear as though that we're not doing as good. However, we manage at the rate of about 4 times what we add. So if my math is right, that sounds about right, 4 to 1. And so in essence, if those two are even, 7 to 7 or 8 and 8, we would actually be 4 times more effective than those outside our company. But the truth is, our residents don't renew every year. They renew about every 2 years. So it still shows that we are about 2 times more effective at delivering a quality resident or avoiding evictions than agents or owners who are doing this themselves, if all things were considered equal. That's pretty great. So some people complain about our criteria, and we love it because that means we have difficult criteria to get in. We also watch our stats to make sure we're not sitting on the market because your property has to rent, right? We've got to keep cash flowing. And again, we've been doing this over 16, 17 years. The number one problem is the owner is not willing to make the property ready for market. Oh, that paint's good enough, or I don't want to move the yard, or it's good enough for residents. And we never ask you to renovate, but there's got to be some updates to properties if they are, let's just say the paint looks like a cheetah, it's not going to rent. So we've got to maintain the properties, and then we've got to have them at the right price. So if you're willing to maintain it to a, let's say, residence inn or courtyard Marriott level, it's consistent, it's clean, there's not garbage out or cockroaches, and it's priced right, it will rent. That's all there is to it. There's no magic, there's no secrets. If you're pointing the finger at somebody else, even if it's another property management company, I would tell you to stop pointing the finger and look back at those 2 items. You can't move the property, and location's the third thing. So is it ready for the market and looks good, clean, smells good? Is it priced right? And if it is, that's all you can do. So don't go blaming others, even if it's not us, even if it's your current property manager and they're performing horribly. I mean, walk the property, and if it really does look good, you don't see anything unusual, and it's priced right, that's really all you can do. So you can adjust the price, you can adjust the condition and move on, but price is your only key beyond condition. Next thing is environmental changes. So just to let you guys know kind of what's happening in the world out here. Last year, hey, everything was going up, rents were going up, everybody was happy. Oh my goodness, the tax bill came, taxes are up, I need rents to go up. Well, everything that goes up comes down. Rents have come down this year. So if your property's sitting in the market and you're looking at last year, stop looking backwards, start looking forward. You can't move backwards, you can move forwards. The other thing is the tax bills are coming out. I have rentals as well, managed solely by my team. I do not manage them. And those tax bills are going down. So just be aware, it's all in conjunction. You may not see it exactly at the same time, but it does flow together just like the other parts of the economy. So expect your property tax bill to go down a little bit this year for 2024 due shortly, unless there's some anomaly or you got lucky before. Another thing is EPA. We had a lot of information come out this year about the EPA. None of it fun. So the EPA does regulate us. If you have a home built before 1978, you are going to be dealing with this. That's just the way it is. So first, we had to go through and create really significant, tighter controls to make sure we were doing everything up to their standards. You do not want to argue with these people. I could tell you a side story sometime. I'm going to say it right now. You don't want that. You don't want that battle. You can't handle that battle. But they came out with a new ruling and said basically the only company in the nation that was creating test kits is no longer doing that. So just treat everything like it has lead. That was their solution. Yay, everything was solved. Well, it's going to cost you more money, flat out, because now you've got to have certified firms if you don't meet exceptions to do the work on your property. And again, I reiterate, you do not want to get into a battle with the EPA over your property. It will not be worth it. You will wish you had not. So if you have any questions, reach out to your property manager. We do have other videos and education coming out on this because it's changed throughout this year. But the ruling is basically going to be if you have a large renovation or something that disturbs that much paint, so it's not an accepted position, then you are going to have to use a certified firm, and that's just the way it's going to be. Market trends, interest rates, and pricing. Keep in mind that we monitor our rate not just against our competitors, but against market trends, because we want to make sure we're offering you something fair, not just something we think is fair. And so we're actually able to monitor that. So as rents go up, our rates have to follow that because labor costs, rent costs, equipment costs, and everything else goes with that. But as rates trend downward, we can monitor that as well. So we're really hoping to keep our rates where they are for 2024, unless rents start trending up again and you start seeing inflation take root again. We're kind of just watching it. To start off 2024, though, we're not changing our rates. We're going to start off the year just where we are. We did learn that after some analysis, looking back about 15 or so years, that inflation causes us to change prices somewhere around $10 or 6% a year, but it depends on the year. Hopefully, some years we can put that off. Early on, we did. And now that inflation is in, we were not able to. But again, we're going to hold flat to start off 2024 and then just keep an eye on it. So that's good news for everybody. Staffing changes. Hey, we had a lot of staffing changes. We added some new people. Yadira is one of our new people. She started off in customer service. She's already moved into a property manager assistant role. She has been blowing the doors off of it. We get compliments on her all the time. We've also added Danny to our maintenance department. She is not only an experienced maintenance tech, she's also a real estate broker. So she has a whole other look at things. And it's been spectacular having her. Ronald is another guy we've got in the field. So as a resident, you may see him going in and out of properties, evaluating things. He has been spectacular to work with as well. Some promotions. Tanya is now our manager of remote operations. So she is over our remote employees. Tanya is just as good as they get, guys. So I hope you get an opportunity to work with her. Melanie is the manager of real estate investment operations. So she is under Erica, and basically she manages just about everything but sales, maintenance for this year, and marketing, and then systems, because Erica is developing and managing those. But if you have a challenge, it's going to get escalated to the PM. Then it's going to get escalated eventually to Melanie, and Melanie is going to be present for you. That's the big thing. You call in and they put you on hold and talk to the supervisor. We don't do that. We do get everyone together when we have challenges, typically on a video chat or on a conference call, so that all parties are present. We can have all the information we need and we can get it solved for you on that call. So just be aware, if you're working with us, you're going to have people present and ready to help you. That's the goal. This is still a service business. So just to round this out, what do we expect in 2024? Well, increased automation, including maintenance, customer interactivity, and we want to really help the team be more efficient so they can be available for you. We have done pretty good on pricing, and we're going to keep an eye on that. We're not expected to start off the year at all with a price increase, which is great for everyone. And also, we want to create a chatbot. You guys have all gotten emails from companies that go on forever because you can't tell who's in it, who's out of it. And we've had some of these go on like 72 steps this year, and it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. So what we're going to try to do next year is to have a chatbot. But the chatbot difference is we want it manned by a live customer service person, not automated. A lot of the ones you're going to deal with online, even from major corporations, are you ask for this and it gives you a list of answers, and you kind of go through this chart to see if you can get your own answer. That is exactly what we do not want. We want you to actually get responses from a real person without having to pick up a phone, without having to email us. If you do email us, we're looking to see if we can turn those into tickets if they go more than 3 steps. So in other words, you email, we try to help, you say we're not, we create a ticket, and then you're copied on the ticket. So the entire team can work in the same place, so we can monitor how long that ticket is open, and we can ensure that anything we need, we can upload to it to deliver to you. That way we can give you the best service. But again, if we can give you quick answers from a real person, we can create a ticket so things don't disappear. You're not having to restate your case 10 times or look back in 72 messages. All of these are better service items. One of the no email trends that came out in 2023 was Costco actually said, we're not doing email anymore. And I went, wait a minute, if Costco is doing it, we need to actually think about this. I'm scared. I'm not sure if we can do it, but we need to have a conversation and see what we can come up with. And we did understand that, email's good, but it's good for about 3 to 5 steps max. And then beyond that, it becomes a problem because it's cumbersome for everyone. And we want to make your life better. This is still a customer service business. So as always, we're here for calls. We love video calls because it helps us get to know each other as humans instead of just throwing around information. We actually want to be available for you. And if you're not looking too pretty that day, you can turn off your camera, but we want to make ourselves available. So that's important to us. When you call in, be sure that you have an appointment set because we want all the parties to be available to give you their undivided attention. Calls without appointments don't typically turn out as well. So that's the hope in the future that we can deliver some chat through a live person with you. If you have any ideas, if we missed anything, We are always open to feedback, and our goal is always to deliver great service to you from the entire team and productive property management services. We'd like to see all you guys making around 10% on your investment. I know some of you got kind of stuck with the property maybe this year that you meant to sell and you couldn't sell, and it's okay. It will work out for you in the long term, I promise. Be patient, stay the course. You're going to see the equity build. You're going to see that asset go up in value. You're going to see your tax deductions line up for you, and it will work for you. Ask your property manager if you have any questions. If they have any questions, they can keep escalating until we all get together and figure out a solution for you. But if something's not working, we need to talk about it. If it is, just stay the course. It's going to be a good year in Austin. I promise you, the investment is still coming in. People are still moving here. We're looking forward to a great outlet for at least another 10 years in the Central Texas corridor. So thank you so much for your time. As always, we're here for you. 512-994-4323 or find us online at 1836propertymanagement.com. Hope to see you again in 2024.